Don't have my, hold on 1 second. Hold on, Jesus. Sorry. There we go.
There we go. I thought the sound was not correct, and I was correct. The sound was not correct. How y'all doing? Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. Appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for putting up with my long-winded rambles and rants and pontifications. Oh yeah, I saw that. I had the Eyes Wide Shut political parody. Did you see the other one? Denver. You guys want to watch this? You do. It's pretty cool. It's an AI generated vid called Lies Wide Shut. Well, let's check it out. I think you can hear it. I'm pretty sure you can hear it. Problem is, you got to see it to hear it. You got to hear it to believe it. Something like that. Where are we? Hello. I did notice that the Diddy oil the first time I saw it. That's funny. There you go. All right. All right. Covering so much to cover as always. So many things. So many things. Hold on one second here. All right. So many things. And I know there's just not enough time. And my time slot is short, and it feels like it's getting encroached upon all the time. A lot of days I feel like I don't even have time to do the show, and that's a crying shame. I'm trying to change that, y'all. I am. All right, we're going to talk about a videotaped conversation between Biden and Obama. And people are trying to figure out, it looks like somebody did kind of figure out a few things that were said. People couldn't hear the sound, but they could see their lips. And people were like, who can see what they're saying? A very tense conversation between Obama and Biden at the Ethel Kennedy funeral. Kamala had another kind of disastrous interview with Brett Baer. The DoD apparently has authorized lethal force in domestic situations. Ron Paul bringing attention to that, and other, Ron Paul and others. Australian fertility rate is down to 1.5 babies per woman. People, and they're worried about the economy. Of course. They're worried about the economy, the fertility rate going down. I wonder what that means. It actually kind of pokes the hole. It kind of pokes a hole in the idea that they want to depopulate the planet. Unless you got robots, and then maybe that, maybe the idea is depopulate the planet when there's enough robots to keep the manufacturing base going. You still need customers. Do robots buy things? Do robots consume things other than, what was the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz? He just needed some oil. He didn't consume anything. He just needed his joints oiled. Evidence-based medicine is killing us. Evidence being, the evidence is that they're trying to kill you with science, right? I think what they're trying to say is, it's a weird sounding sentence. Evidence-based medicine is killing us. Well, the evidence is that it's killing us. I don't know that the evidence. What? Anyways, a Category 4 marine heat wave has developed in the tropical Atlantic. And forest, there's wholesale logging going on again in Vancouver. Vancouver seems, it's the Pacific Northwest, and loads of old growth trees. It's, very green and forested there, and they want to cut down the trees. Oh, we got a new member in the Black Bear News chat. Denver, those are the kinds of things you can drop in the Black Bear News chat and Telegram. There's also the browser chat, which the browser chat is kind of weird to me because it looks like at one point there were a whole bunch of people in there, and now it looks like there's nobody in there, and I can't tell why. Can't tell if like people left or everybody got kicked out. Anyways, just go to the Telegram one. It's really not that hard. I know I sound like Joe Biden. You can drop all kinds of links and interesting articles in there, or Twitter. I don't know. Go to my Twitter page, Black Bear News, the number 1. Black Bear News and the number 1. That's my Twitter page. You can post things there. Denver sends me things there. Lots of people send me things on Twitter. Thank you. Anyways, they're cutting down trees in the Pacific Northwest again, and they're going to do it. They're just going to keep on doing it. What's up, Rockfin people? Okay, we're live on all these channels: Rockfin, YouTube, and Rumble. Please subscribe, like, subscribe, repost, retweet, whatever you want to do. You tried to get Telegram to work? All right. Let's see. Oh, and then there's another story that I actually forgot to put in my lineup, that Google is buying nuclear power now. There's going to be, the data centers are so hungry. They're so hungry for power. Need more power. They need more power. And so they're going to buy nuclear power. Apparently we talked about this. They started 3 Mile Island. 3 Mile Island, a whole I guess we have to look at that too. I don't know. Yes, in Pennsylvania. So I guess that's 3 Mile Island. Well, let's start with this. We'll start with this one. Why not? Let's get into it. Freaking, I'm pumped. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. That's not it. Bloomberg posted a story 6 or 7 months ago about how we got to keep coal going to power AI. Okay. Tech company orders 6 or 7, 6 or 7 small nuclear reactors. 6 or 7 ought to do it. From California's Kairos Power. It's funny. Journalism is funny these days. Google has signed a world first deal to buy energy from a fleet of mini nuclear reactors to generate the power needed for the rise in the use of artificial intelligence. The rise of AI. The U.S. tech corporation has ordered 6 or 7 small nuclear reactors, with the first due to be completed by 2030 and the remainder by 2035. Google hopes the deal will provide a low-carbon solution to power data centers, which require huge volumes of electricity. Huge volumes of electricity. The company owned by Alphabet said nuclear power provided a clean, round-the-clock power source that can help us reliably meet electricity demands. Clean. You know how clean nuclear power is. It's clean. It's going to be it's the next wave, Judy. Small nuclear reactors is like the next. They're going to be everywhere, right? Because they're going to decide nuclear power was safe all along. There's no danger here. Totally safe, totally fine. So there's going to be small nuclear reactors, like literally every town will be. It looks like, all the evidence is pointing to the fact that like they're going to be, because the renewable energy sources are going to be so unreliable, and they're rife with problems, right? That soon, every little small town in America is going to order their own small nuclear reactor, for safety, for safety. Because we need reliable, round the clock, clean energy. I don't know about that. I think they have their own problems as well. The explosive growth of generative AI as well as cloud storage has increased tech companies' electricity demands. Last month, Microsoft struck a deal to take energy from 3 Mile Island, activating the nuclear plant for the first time in 5 years. The site in Pennsylvania was the location of the most serious reactor meltdown in U.S. history in 1979. Reactivating an old ass nuclear power plant because we need more data storage. Amazon bought a data center powered by nuclear energy in March, also in Pennsylvania, from Talon Energy. The location of the new Google plants and financial details of the agreement were not revealed. The tech company, for safety, tech company has agreed to buy a total of 500 megawatts of power from Kairos, which was founded in 2016 and is building a demonstration reactor in Tennessee, due to be completed in 2027. Interesting. A demonstration reactor. They don't even have the thing built. The thing ain't even built. And they're buying them. They're buying them. Small nuclear reactor. It's not even built. The demonstration reactor isn't even built yet. It's going to be totally safe, guys. Totally safe, right? It's kind of like mRNA, right? We're just, it's moving at the speed of science. We're just building small nuclear reactors hither and yon. We're just building them up, and, we'll have one demonstrating in 3 years, 2 or 3 years. And then we'll sell you 6 or 7 of them. Right. You have to have a good water source. You have to have, how do you control this thing, cool this thing if something goes wrong? What happens in a major flood? What happens if one of those 1,000-year floods, or Hurricane Helene's hits your town with a small nuclear reactor? What happens? What do you do? What do you do? What happens to the reactor? Does it go down? Does it melt down? Does it power down? Does it explode? Does it, does it explode like the biolab chemical factory? What happens? People want to know. I would like to know what happens. Anyways, it's the new thing, kids. It's the next wave. It'll be fine. Biden told Obama. So they had, I guess, New York Post had a lip reader read this. This is all over the place. Biden and Obama. Okay. All right, fine. I don't want to do this right now, Brave. Just, can you leave me alone? Just, all right, fine. It's all over the place on Twitter, this tense conversation. Shani says Musk's supercomputer in Memphis, Tennessee, that's still not complete, is already causing cancers and other diseases in local. Really? Really? I'd like to know more about that. Did not know about that. Did not hear about that. Don't recall being consulted on this need. Yes, exactly. Were they asking us, guys? You know, we need the AI and the supercomputers, right? You know how much we need it. So we're going to go ahead and do this without your consultation, without opening it up to the public for comment, or no comments from the peanut gallery. Anyway, so yes, so this is anyways, they had a lip reader kind of look at this, because this is, everywhere, and people are really interested in what they were saying. And it looks like Biden told Obama, she's not as strong as me. And the ex-president agrees. Ex-president agrees that's true. Somewhere else, I saw somebody saying that he said she's done. He said, Obama said, nope, she's done, referring to Kamala. Okay. President Biden griped to former President Barack Obama, she is not as strong as me. Obama agreeing that's true. In a stunning off-mic conversation deciphered for the Post by a professional lip reader. And then there were some very comedic takes. Wait, let's see if I can find the comedy one, because it actually was pretty funny. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry. Yes, there's language in here that maybe people might be upset by. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're upset. It's kind of funny. They're actually going on, if you are reading the lips while you're watching it's kind of close. It's really not that far off. Where are we? Let me not mess up the stream, okay? Where'd we go? Where is it? Oh, here we go. Oh no. Hold on. Watch the lips along with
So is Kamala doing okay?
Nope. She's down, Joe. I think they found out that she's retarded, and now we're basically fucked. Trump is killing us at the polls, so yes, we're going to lose Joe.
Damn it. Wait. What if I come back to run again?
As candidate?
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way, Joe. The only person in this world who is even more retarded than Kamala Harris is basically you. So no, Joe,
man,
you're not going
give
back
another
in.
shot.
Let's let it all play out. Okay, we'll talk later, Joe.
Okay.
Women looking fine up in here.
You can't see Bill Clinton off to the side, but Bill Clinton is very interested in the conversation. If you watch the whole clip, he's like, huh? Anyways, it was pretty funny. And actually not far off from, if you watch the lips, what those captions were reading were pretty close. I don't think Obama said retarded, but it was funny. So the only, the public sentiment from what I can see is that Kamala is absolutely imploding, and she just looks like a goof. She looks like totally goofy, and the only thing that's holding up her viability is like the national polls, right? Because she's apparently still up in the national polls for whatever reason, you know. And I was talking to somebody the other day, just random conversation, and this person was like trying to give me all these reasons why he thought Kamala was going to win. And I was like, yeah, you know, I, you know, it was a very friendly kind of open conversation. I told him what I thought. He told me what he thought. And I was like, okay. But what I was thinking, um, uh, was that this guy lives in a liberal bubble, for one, and he's looking for, you know, he's really looking hard. You know, I see people really looking hard out there for trying to support, you know, the people on my other social medias that I see trying to support Kamala. They're just really like, and it's kind of running out of steam, the reasons to support her. This guy was saying that, you know, the super brain, big brain pollster prognosticators that seem to always be right, were saying that Kamala is going to win because, you know, she's got some whatever swing state support is actually stronger for her, and something. I was like, you know, again, you're quoting pollsters, and that is always a dicey thing to do, because you can you know, just like you can find a scientific study to really back any argument you have on the internet, right? You can find a poll to back, you know, any candidate you want to you see support for, right? You know, as far as the two major ones, you can find a poll that's going to support your position that one is stronger than the other. It's not hard to do. So if you're looking for a firm, you know, firming up the foundation in your mind that your candidate is going to take it all the way, you know, you can find it. So I'm sure, you know, for some Democrats out there, I'm sure, you know, they look around and they're like, yeah, I see she's going to win. I see in my feedback loop that she's going to win. She ain't going to win. She's not going to win. It's not going to happen, because you know, you could say that maybe I'm seeing a feedback loop, but I'm not really. She's got her core supporters, but she's not gonna. What I'm seeing in the general, you know, on the internet and generally everywhere I look, I see ridicule of Kamala, and you know, and either tacit or strong support for Trump. And I also see in a very liberal city that I live in, lots of Trump support that I've never seen in my life before. And all of those things are blinking red light, that it's not. Yeah, Gregory, that was one of the things, you know, several people have said to me that she's going to win because women are going to get out there, and I don't see that either. Yeah, for women who that's an issue for, sure. Yeah, I give that some validity, but I feel like there are a lot of women out there that are like, that's not enough for me. And here's the other thing, you know, to counter that women are going to get out on the issue of abortion. The Democrats have absolutely lost everyone who cares about Gaza and Palestine. And it's not that all those voters are going to go for Trump. It's just, they're just not going to go for. So whatever they picked up, you know, whatever they picked up in support because of abortion. And also that's a weird one to me too, because I mean, it's a valid concern. It's just she's, you know, on you know, she may win on that one issue, but on other issues she's losing so badly that I think they cancel out. You know, period. And the economy is the biggest one of all. And I'm telling you that administrations do not survive economies absolutely in the tank. It doesn't matter. And again, you can they're telling you in the papers, the economy is better than ever and stronger than ever. Stock market at an all-time high. Everything's dandy, and the jobs are picking up. You can find data to back up your viewpoint if if that's what you want to do. But the reality is that people are really suffering. That's what I hear when I talk to people. Like, I am losing I just talked to another person like the other day, random person, said last year was the worst year ever he's ever had economically. Had to go into debt to survive. This is the stuff I'm hearing from, mostly from people's mouths. And the general mood is very sour, and people were really, that's not when the economy is in the tank. I'm sorry, it's your yeah, you don't really make it. You don't, historically, it does not. You don't make it out of that. Zalipa, yeah, Dems blew abortion rights, especially Obama. Anyways, all that is to say, we're gonna look at some of this interview with Brett Baer and Cam. She's just not doing herself. And maybe that's the point. People have said Dems are trying to lose. And there's been a lot of evidence that they actually do stuff like this on purpose, right? It's called the Ratchet Effect. This is part of the Ratchet Effect. Part of the Ratchet Effect, and that both parties are interested in more right, moving everything to the right. Both parties are interested in this. The Dems just, they act like they try, not really. Like, we can see over the last few Democratic administrations that they really very, very meekly and weakly try to push back on, the right drift. They're drifting to the right. They very weakly push back, if at all. And then they cry foul, and the Republicans, and they're just mean. These guys are mean, bully Nazis, and what are we going to do? And we need your support, and please donate today. We're going to be sending you an email. Right? And they let it happen on purpose, right? And they just go, "Oh, our hands were tied. What could we do?" This is, everybody knows this is happening. If you're paying attention, everybody knows this is happening. So if the Democrats are really going out there trying to look super bad, and they seemingly, through the last two or couple of years, every time the Biden administration, when Biden was in charge, I guess, did anything, I was like, are they trying to, like, they just seem to be moving, if they're trying to appeal to people, they seem to be moving in the opposite direction at a very quick pace. They're, ramping up the wars, which nobody wants, ramping up these wars, which are very unpopular, the economy's in the tank, and giving away billions of dollars to these other countries, and they just seem to be stepping, in their own way. And it seems to be pretty obvious that they're stepping in their own way. And like, right, exactly. Osama, Black Bear fake news. But they just seem to be, crapping the bed and crapping on themselves. So, and maybe maybe it's on purpose. I don't know. They don't look so hot. I'm just saying, whatever the national polls and all that kind of stuff, feel like that's pretty, seems like it's artificially inflated, and I hope nobody, gets real upset when she goes down. Sorry. Joseph Wood, what's a socially acceptable word for retarded? Dumbass? I don't know. I don't really, retarded is fine. She's not presentable, no. She's not likable. I'm sorry to say that. She's not a likable character. people don't really like her. People don't like her. And like, I'm seeing that, even among, and I feel like even in social media, some of the cracks are showing in the liberal base. A friend of mine who's not a Trump supporter, but like posted this, not at all a Trump supporter. He's definitely mostly, California Democrat, posted a video about this guy that drove over, he drove over some Trump signs, and there were nails in the wood on the bottom of the Trump signs that, right? Basically they were like, somebody's going to try and run the sign over, and I want to screw them back by poking a hole in their tires. And the guy was like super typical, right? Wearing a mask in the car, and he was like with his wife, and he's like, I'm going to run over these signs. And she's like, don't do it, honey. And he runs over the signs, and he gets a flat tire. Shit is hilarious. And people were, all my super democratic liberal friends were laughing their asses off. And I was like, oh, you guys would not even laugh at this 2 years ago. But this is how bad the Dems are doing, that they're willing to like laugh at somebody getting screwed over by their own TDS. And like, this is the state of play, right? This is where we're at. People, SNL openly mocking the Harris thing. It doesn't look good for them. I'm sorry. And that it's just kind of glaringly obvious to me. Maybe not to you. I don't know. Let's watch this.
I hope you got to say what you wanted to say about Donald Trump. There are a lot of things
There's more to say. I have
there
much more to
are
say,
a lot of
actually.
things that people want to learn about you and your policies, and
Yes.
that's why we
I
invited
invite
you
everyone.
I wanted to set that this is a moment summarizes the entire. Brett Baier softly reminds Kamala that she didn't say a single thing about herself and chose to spend her time shitting on Donald Trump. It's literally what happened. If you want to learn anything about her, you have to go to her website instead.
I hope you got to say what you wanted to say about Donald Trump. There are a lot of things
There's more to say. I have much more
there
to
are
say,
a lot of
actually.
things that people want to learn about you and your policies, and
Yes.
that's why we
I
invited
invite
you
everyone to go to kamalaharris.com, and you will see that I have
What?
80 pages of policies that are quite comprehensive and should be accessible to anyone who would like to read them. And it includes what I intend to do about affordable housing, what I intend to do about small businesses, what I do
And that's why
intend
we
to do to
invited you
strengthen our
here
economy,
to see where you were in 2019 and
to
where you are
support
now.
America's military and ensure we have the most lethal and best fighting force in the world.
Madam Vice President,
And
they're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the
It's
time.
good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you got to say what you wanted
That
to
was
say
very
about Donald.
cordial. All right, let's keep going. Got a couple more things to cover here. This is concerning, shocking. People, this was floating around the last couple of days. Why isn't the media talking about this? Right before the most contentious election ever, the DoD just reissued Directive 5240.01. Allowing more military involvement in civil law enforcement and authorizing lethal force in domestic situations, which wasn't in the last version. And this was updated September 27th. Assistance in responding with assets with potential for lethality or any situation which is reasonably foreseeable, that providing the requested assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. It also includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in situations where a confrontation between civilian law enforcement and civilian individuals or groups is reasonably anticipated. Oh. Reasonably anticipated. What does that mean? Authorization of lethal force. One of the most controversial aspects in the authorization for the use of lethal force in domestic situations. This means that under certain conditions, Military personnel can utilize lethal force, which was not explicitly detailed or permitted in earlier iterations of the directive. This update comes at a sensitive time, being implemented just before a significant election, raising concerns about its implications for civil liberties and the potential for misuse during times of civil unrest or national emergency. I saw somebody saying the other, in my travels that Americans are too lazy to have a civil war, or they're too complacent. I was like, yeah, that's kind of true. It's like people can get really angry, but they'll be like, yeah. Anyways, I gotta go to work, which is true. The Unstoppable says, we all know that our reasons are not what decide who is selected for president. Yeah. Fair enough. That's true. Yep. Genocide is dumb political business. The Democrats have made a super bad political decision. They did. But you're kind of with Trump's rhetoric around the situation, you're kind of voting for genocide. Either if you're voting for either of the major parties, you're kind of voting for genocide. So, yeah. Again, I am not. All of this is to say, I'm not telling you I'm voting for Trump. I'm not telling you to vote for Trump. I think Trump is not going to be. I think we're in a screwed either way situation. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, honestly, to that. So, all I can say is do what you think is the best thing. What I'm trying to do is just kind of relate an observation about what I'm seeing and an observation about which way I think it's going to go. It has nothing to do with my personal feelings about it, Trump is perfect when the option is Kamala. Yeah. Vote Mossad or vote Mossad. You're right. Denver says it seems very much intelligence related, like the DoD is in control of all the messaging at an institutional level, that and data collection. It means if they brand you as whatever racist or whatever, they take all your data pending further action in the future. Maybe. Let's see. Australian fertility rates are down. And Elon Musk was, it's going to be, telling you it's bad. We got to have more babies. Australian birth rate hits rock bottom. But this is always the headline is always the same, which is that's interesting, Judy. You decided to vote for Trump because of RFK Jr.'s speech? It remains to be seen. Okay. I mean, RFK Jr.'s support and involvement with the transition is an interesting one. Again, I don't believe I like RFK, and I think that he is, he mostly means what he says, and that he's, more of an authentic person than some other characters. But do I think his involvement is actually going to move the needle or push things? I don't know, and I guess if you're voting that way with the hopes that things actually change, I get that. I mean, I get why people would vote for either side based on certain issues. I totally get it. I don't know that I believe that he's gonna. He didn't really go against the deep state the first time. In fact, he just hired the deep state, and he pretty much did a whole bunch of deep state stuff. There were a couple things that he did that I did appreciate, but mostly it was, and a lot of people are saying that was because he was hampered politically, that he's going to fix it this time. I don't know. I just don't believe Trump is going to do that. Somebody was saying too, I guess an interesting opinion was that someone else said if RFK could do better in the cabinet than as a presidential candidate, or if he was president, they were saying he could get more done being a cabinet member, and that's a possibility, sure, right? If he was president, he'd have too much heat on him, he'd have too much pressure to get, he wouldn't be able to actually move things around, but maybe off to the side he could do more, and I guess. Yeah, and there are some things about how he left. I don't appreciate him stopping his run, but he did it, and it's done. Australia's birth rate hits rock bottom with severe consequences for economic future. Right? The economy still, and I don't see it changing anytime in the future. The economy runs on people buying and using stuff, consuming. It's the entire economy of the planet. In one word, is consuming. Right? The economy doesn't run on any other maxim other than consume. So if you take away the consumer base, the economy goes down, which is why I don't believe there's this depopulation agenda. I just think that's absolutely silly, because it doesn't, there's lots of ways to control the population, like at a slower clip, like wars or population control. Heard someone say that, and that's true. There's death by attrition, which is just poor health, stress, people doing dumb stuff, right? You can control the population with with a slow death of poisoning by food or air or whatever. But in the whole, they don't want the population to go down. Population goes down, the economy goes down, period. So I don't, that one doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But again, if you have any other theories, I'm open to them. But, or maybe the people on top are going to build so many robots that they will enjoy the utopian comforts of robot assisted living, and everybody else can go to hell. Right? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it will make a difference much in the long run, because we would still be fighting against the same money machine. Yeah, unless you really need to structurally. Oh man, I know I'm getting off base here. Well, I've almost covered everything I want to cover. Almost. Yeah, it's probably way back here. Hold on. Just hold your horses. Oh, how long ago was it? Oh, here it is. Okay, this is an interesting video. This guy has a lot of great ideas and proposals. They're like, yeah, fuck yeah, this guy. I had something to say about this, but
The people in Congress should be. Here's how I would fix how fucked up the United States Congress is with 5 simple rules. The first rule, obviously, being term limits. The people in Congress should be just like the president. They are only allowed to serve 2 terms. Then they can make way for someone else who has something else to say. Rule number 2.
Hold on. Does anybody remember? I'm old enough to remember that term limits was this huge issue back in the day. Like, remember when Citizens United, people used to talk about Citizens United, and it just got squashed and nobody cares anymore. It's like, dude, it's still killing us. Like, we need to do something about this. You can't just walk, oh, they won, and we're just going to walk away from the fight. No, you can't. Term limits was like this huge thing, and like, they kind of came to some bullshit, like, oh yeah, totally, we passed term limits, but it wasn't, they didn't, because obviously Bernie Sanders has been in office for like 30 years, and Ron Paul, all these people have been in office, Nancy Pelosi for 30 freaking years, so there's no term limits. So yes, term limits, gosh, can we actually get those again? Can we make it an issue again and get those done? That would be great. They don't want them, obviously. They're never going to let that pass over their dead bodies.
Congressmen and women are paid the median salary of the state they represent. If the congressman or woman wants to make more money, they need to take action to raise the median salary of the people in their state. This will immediately.
This is cool. That's a great idea.
Guarantee that they understand the people they represent. And I know people are going to say that would be hard to do because they have to go back and forth between Washington and their state. That leads me to rule number 3. No more traveling to Washington, and also no overseas travel paid by the taxpayer. Now, how will we accomplish this? Easy. We all know what fucking Zoom is. It is 2024. There is no fucking reason for our representatives to be traveling to Washington. There is no reason they have to meet in the same fucking room. We just install big ass iPads on each chair and they can talk it out over Zoom. It's fucking insane that we are paying for our representatives to travel all the way across the country just to fucking vote. All we need is big ass iPads, secure push button voting technology, and video conferencing technology. 3 things we already have. As for the overseas travel, there is zero fucking reason for a representative from Idaho to have to go to Paris on official business. They are not foreign dignitaries. They are not part of some international Peace Corps. They are representatives of their state, so they need to stay in their fucking state. Now, if they want to go overseas on vacation, that's fine. They can pay for it themselves. But there's absolutely no fucking reason taxpayers should be footing the bill for representatives or senators to fly overseas. Now, without them traveling all over the place, that's going to free up a lot of time. And that'll lead into rule number 4, which is single issue bills only. Any bill that's submitted to be voted on can only be about one single issue. There is no fucking reason a veterans benefit bill should have anything unrelated to veterans in it. It should be putting up one issue at a time, voting on one issue at a time, and passing or not passing one bill at a time. Want more money for Ukraine? Put up a bill that is just the Ukraine funding. Don't combine it with some bill giving benefits to old people to try to make everyone feel bad and vote yes. If a bill or an issue can't pass on its own merits, then it doesn't need to be passed. And lastly, rule number 5. Anytime a member of Congress speaks to the media or the American people, it is automatically assumed that they are under oath and can be charged with perjury for lying to the American people. And if through a jury of their peers, preferably that jury should also be made up of the residents of the state they represent, they will be immediately removed from office. And that's it. 5 rules to unfuck Congress.
Okay. My response to this was, that's awesome. That's awesome. Because that means we have to organize and vote on this, right? So how are you going to pass those rules? Those rules are great. I agree. But how are you going to do that? Well, golly gee willikers, that means you actually have to think that you can move, try to move the needle to get these things done. You'd have to organize people. You'd have to organize people to the extent that you can pressure the government to make these kinds of changes, right? And that would take organization. It would take agency and involvement and action on the part of the people in order to, bend the will of the government. That's what it would take. And it would actually, which is the opposite of what I hear. And even, this guy has great ideas. This guy looks like a libertarian, less regulation type of dude. He just does. Sorry to stereotype. But it's, this whole crowd is like, get out of my pocket, government, get off my back. This, right? These goddamn communists, bro. It's like, I don't know how this guy really like thinks and feels about all that stuff, but it's like you have to, you'd have to do state ballot initiatives, right? You'd have to vote. First of all, you'd have to vote. You have to organize this stuff, and then you'd have to like, really like put up a battle. Put up an organized battle to like, change. It goes against a lot of the, libertarian. A lot of what I see and hear in my travels around the internet. That's very popular these days. Is that like, don't vote, don't try to fix it. They can't fix it. It's unfixable. We want less regulations, not more. I'm telling you, yes, regulations kind of suck. Sometimes there are bad regulations, but most of you want to try and get good regulations in and strike the bad ones. And you have to do that by, somehow being involved in the thing that you're trying to change. Right. It's just like, anyways, anyways, I thought that video was cool. I was just saying, guess what? You have to organize and vote on this. There are called regulations, which every libertarian and right-wing and or anarchist wants nothing to do with. Pressuring the government is actually regulate itself is something that we don't want to get involved with. Is every freaking alternative media person that I come across, and maybe I'm in the wrong bubble. I don't know. I might be. But it's all I hear, like, all the time. I'm just like, you don't, unless you're gonna. Extra Bullet says the more bureaucracy, the more entrenched these elected officials. But I mean, the thing is that you have to, there was a time when we actually pressured the government to make some changes, when things were admittedly really bad. There was a time when people organized to try and make changes, which actually did help create, a better life for a lot of people. And those changes have been slowly. The reason why we're back here again in great wealth disparity and with things falling apart and it's seemingly like out of control, corrupt government running rampant and getting us into wars and all that, is that there's, they've chipped away at like all ability for people to, to kind of take action. And they're going to continue as long as we keep letting them, as long as we keep going like, it's fine. We can't do anything to change this or fix this. They're just going to keep going, And I used to think that's why, I mean, I don't know. I feel like voting is something of a civic duty. I think that it changes much right now? No. Do I think it changes much right now? No, I don't. But my in the past, my reasons for actually going out and voting were that, I don't know, the less people get involved and the less people vote, the more you allow them to, those in charge to just keep encroaching, keep choosing, right? Like the less people out there choosing, the more that a few, you can you can get whatever you want if there's a lot less people involved in the choice in the choosing process, right? You only have to swing so many people if there's less and less people coming to the polls, right? So the more people choosing would actually, it's harder to, you don't know what's going to happen, right? It adds more to the we don't know what's going on dynamic, right? Or we don't know how to control this dynamic. Anyways, that was my rationale and reasoning for it, and I still have that belief that like the less you're involved in trying to pressure or say something about what's going on, the more you just allow for it to keep rolling forward, right? So at some point it has to meet some resistance. At some point that resistance needs to become us, and that's just how it is, period. You're not, the only way you're going to run away to the mountains and build your own community is if the government collapses. And it might, but or civilization like just collapses, right? That's your best chance for like, well, I'm going to get off the grid and build my own system and do my own thing and F them and get out of the, oh, okay, really? You're not going to, oh yeah, right, Salipa, who's right. But there was no resistance, Zalipa. There was no resistance to Joe Biden running all the other primary contenders out of the primary, right? There was barely any resistance to Joe Biden in the first place in 2020. I mean, I know there was a pandemic. It made it easier for them to go like, no, just Joe. But man, I saw people out there caping for Joe Biden. And I was like, you fucking fools. you ignorant morons. Like, there are people that are just like, yeah, Biden's our guy, dude. And like, yeah, F Bernie Sanders and all these other people. And like, we need to get behind Joe. I was like, okay. You're going to get what you get. If you're too dumb to know what you're getting, you're going to get what you get. So it's about education, organization, the media too, not just mainstream media, but social media. It's really good at like brainwashing people and like running people down if they have questions and like, yeah, I know, but it's wild. It's wild that people are, the most ironic thing ever is that people are telling you that you have to vote for Kamala Harris to save democracy. Think on that one. Think real hard on that one. Think really super hard on that one. Because she was appointed, appointed to VP and then appointed as the nominee. Nobody voted for her. Right. Thank you for pointing that out. Nobody voted for her. But we have to vote for her to save democracy. You see how that works? Yeah, that's a good one. It's a knee slapper. Oh, I agree. Yeah, this guy would be a better president than anyone running. Yeah, I mean, I liked his ideas. I thought, bully on you, man, for putting it out there. I mean, for crying out loud, talk about it. At least he's saying, I'm sure he got 3 million, like, he probably got 3 million, like, hell yeah. And he got 3 million, like, fuck you. You're stupid. Shut up. You can't change anything. Go home. Get back to, whatever. Just stop trying. The government's the problem. Get out of the way. Stop, whatever. Right? He got a bunch of that too, I'm sure. But at least he's forming ideas about Jesus Christ. We have a problem. What's the solution? He's forming an idea, right? Like, no offense to anybody who thinks this way, but I don't think that way. No offense to anybody that stop with the solutions. Stop already with all the solutions. There's no solution. Just go die. It's like, okay, great. That's helpful. Thanks for playing. That's cool if that's your, if that's your viewpoint or whatever. There's plenty of people like that. But you're going to get what you get when you don't ask for anything else, right? If you don't ask for anything else, you're going to get what you get. So enjoy that. Logic isn't working. I mean, most of the time. You know, if common sense were common, you ever heard that one? And also the maxim that, you know, if it makes total sense, if it seems completely logical, it'll never work, right? Only, you know, this whole world runs on just the most insanely stupid, you know, bonehead ideas seem to be the ones that always fly. And anyway, what else? I got to wrap it up. I do. You know, and again, I'm not saying that like you got to get out there and vote and change the world. That's not, you know, I know that it's an uphill battle and it's really difficult and stuff, but like, you know, there's got to be voting and organizing. There's got to be, you know, and you know, quite a few people pointed out that voting in the local elections, it's much more critical than voting in national elections. Trying to change your local landscape is much more beneficial than changing the national landscape, all that kind of stuff. Sure. Um, yeah, I'm trying to get to things that I missed in the last couple days. Red 40 is literally crude oil. We have completely lost the plot with quote unquote evidence-based medicine when the FDA says there's not enough data to suggest mixing crude oil in our kids' food is harmful. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration said it has reviewed and evaluated the effects of color additives on children's behavior, but believes that most children have no adverse effects when consuming them. Right? No, yeah, it's actually the worst thing. Steph C, calling somebody conspiracy theorist is not a good argument. No, absolutely not. I put a post up the other day that had the term conspiracy theorist in it, and I felt actually really bad afterwards because I was like, this is actually in a way like denigrating conspiracy theorists, and I don't want to be, you know, I actually don't want to be that person. But this is what you know, our current state of corruption is that the USDA is allowing poison in our foods for profit. And they get a little kickback. They get a little something. They get a little scratch. They get a little play. They get a little, you know, they get a little folding money in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? And they're supposed to be helping us out. A Category 4 Marine heat wave. Oh, by the way, if you want to support this channel and you like this channel coming to you for free, 99, it's free. There's no paywalls and there's no charges for watching this show. No entry fee for watching the show. It's free to you. If you want to support the show, there are many ways to do it. And then the links below in the description box of any of the platforms you're watching on, please try to use those links if you can. Those are the best ones because they charge the least in fees. They charge you the least in fees, and they charge me the least in fees, and they usually get to me pretty much immediately. If you tip on any of the platforms, it's usually the money goes down a big old rabbit hole, and I never know when it's going to come out. And usually it comes out with a lot of the money shaved off of it. So it's just not really a good investment. It's just bad. And, it's like, hey, I want to buy this thing and lose, 30 to 40% of its value by the time it actually gets to the person I'm handing the money to. That's just not good. It's just not a good transaction. It's just not good transactional sense there. Yeah. If you want to support the show, those are the ways to do it. To the people that support the show already, you know who you are, and I appreciate you. Whoever is, thanks for the reoccurring donations on Buy Me a Coffee. For whoever is supporting me there's a few of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Category, let me see. Did I get this one? Marine heat wave going on. It's pretty bad. Maximum alert level 5 for coral bleaching has been issued for the Eastern Caribbean and Lesser Antilles, indicating a risk of near complete mortality for coral in the region. Holy shnikes, major heat stress for Atlantic marine life. This is not, obviously, not great. And of course, this is what is contributing to the, the frequency and the severity of the hurricanes in the region that are developing in the region. This kind of goes hand in hand. If the water's really warm, hurricanes get really big, really fast. I know it's hard for people to take on that explanation because, maybe it's something else. I don't know. Haven't seen something conclusive. I'm not trying to ignore anything. If somebody thinks that there is something conclusive, but there is also the explanation that warm waters develop hot, more powerful storms, and that's kind of just easy Occam's razor kind of stuff there. Going South says, I'm glad to see that my watching app is working. BBN just starts playing in the top window without me having to find or start it. Nice. Yeah, that's happening. Also Kameshwari Kate sent me this, and very sad to see that there's Vancouver is losing one of its most important forests to what looks like wholesale logging. Forest thinning or wholesale logging. Hundreds of Stanley Park's majestic and iconic trees are gone. Right. There's a lot of just, these are big forests. People can just walk in there and just start chopping. And so the timber companies will get that wood. They get it legally or illegally. And this between the native tribes there and people in general that don't want to see all the trees chopped down, and the timber companies who want it all. They want all the wood. They want to chop down every last tree. Sad. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate y'all. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. See you tomorrow at 11. And Republican seniors don't want to get rid of Social Security. Heck no. They like it. They don't. They're like, don't you touch that. We hate them socialists and them commies, but yeah, dang it! If you take my Medicare, I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna cry. You think Donald Trump is going to take away your Social Security? I mean, good. Seems like that's like the Democrats' job, though. They didn't get around to it this time, but maybe the next Democratic administration might. Because it's too much for Republicans can't do that because they're like people. It'll be just massive freak out. It's the Democrats that'll do it. All right, guys. Thanks so much. You rock. Tomorrow we'll be back here rocking together.